Excellent, excellent. So tell us what is leading your team to success during the COVID-19 pandemic and maybe some of the stats for your team year to date.
So I think the biggest thing, guys, is that, the truth is when COVID took place, at least for us, the last 10 days of March and the first 7 days of April were pretty scary. I'm sure you guys remember that, right? Crickets, we had cancellations and people just dropping off our pipelines. You name it, right? But the one thing we realize is that no matter what the market does and what the shift is, we have to focus on activity. For us, that's daily lead generation. That's script practice, right? And making sure that we focus on our income producing activities every day and all day, no matter what. And because of that, that was about April 10th, I won't forget it, where I made a decision as a leader to just push my agents and my staff and making sure that not focusing on the income producing activities was not going to happen. So April 10th and beyond, we started killing it, started figuring out virtual open houses, virtual buyer consultations, virtual everything. And literally come May, we put from April 21st, so 10 days after that, for about 45 straight days. So from April 20th to, I would say, the end of May, we put 25 or 26 properties in escrow and took like 15 or 16 listings, all in a 45-day span. And I think I attribute a lot of that to just our aggressiveness of making sure that no matter what the market does, we know that there's buyers and sellers out there. Our job is just to find them and find them motivated. And not doing that was not an option.
Excellent. And what did that daily lead generation look like? And you mentioned script practice too.
Yeah, so basically here's our model. Every single morning at 9 a.m. to 9:30, we do what's called Power Up. My team locally does it, and I'm a part of the Ben Kinney team nationally, so all of our teams across the nation does Power Up. Some start at 8:30, we start at 9, and it goes from 9 to 9:30, and that consists of talking about gratitude, positive things, talking about some sort of training or inspiration for the day, and then focusing on role play and script practice. That's the gist of it. And then right after that, people get on the phone, and for the day, our team standard is 150 dials a day. Right, so our goal is for our agents to dial 150 people daily, Monday through Friday. Our standard is to do 2 open houses a week. Obviously, with open houses being restricted, we're definitely getting back to that as soon as they open it up for us in the county, right, both in LA and Orange County. And then when it comes to our lead generation and our income producing activities, one of the best vehicles that we love is circle prospecting. We love doing just listed and just sold calls. Number 2, we like calling for sale by owners. Number 3, we like calling our database. Number 4, we like calling what we call data mining. So as many years as I've been in the business, we have thousands of people within our Brivity CRM system that we've never been able to convert, get a hold of, etc. So we have lists of people that we've never been able to convert that we put into Mojo, and a lot of our newer agents get to what's called dig for gold. And it's been working out well lately as well, that pillar.
Well, that's awesome. I like that. Dig for gold.
Dig for gold, baby.
Find the gold in there. So tell us a little bit more about the data mining.
So imagine, we recently switched from Boomtown to Brivity last year. And we moved 22 or 23,000 people over from CRM to CRM. And I've done a better job of segmenting and organizing our database, but I think I have a couple thousand people into a certain account. So imagine buyers, sellers, tenants, FSBOs, anybody who's come in the system that, whether agents have left our team or the agents that are on our team couldn't convert, or I couldn't convert or couldn't get a hold of, they're in this large thousands of people bucket. I've been able to segment them in lists of 100 each for our agents, right? We take that list and we don't know what they are. All we know is there's a name and there's a phone number. If they don't have a phone number, they're not in our data mining lists, right? And we stick those into Mojo for our veteran agents that want the lists, for our new agents in the first week of joining our team. And like I said, these can be buyers, they can be tenants, but here's the simple script that we use. And we go ring, ring. Oh, hi, is this John? Hi, John, this is Fred with the Fred Sed group. And at one point in the past, you reached out to our team for some sort of real estate need. And we wanted to know if you were still thinking about buying or selling real estate in the near future. It's literally digging for gold. And you go through. If they say this, you do this. If they say this, you do this. And you bring people back to life, basically.
Excellent. Yeah. And then how much time would you say per day you're spending on lead generation?
Me or the agents?
Well, yourself and then your agents to get the
I
150.
would say $150 is not that difficult to get. If you're on Mojo, so all of our agents have triple line dialers on Mojo. So you can hit a triple line dialer, circle prospect community in Yorba Linda, Tustin, wherever, and you can knock out $150 in less than 90 minutes if you wanted to. I think that realistically, a solid amount of time to spend daily through lead generation and lead follow-up is at least 2 to 3 hours a day for an agent at minimum, no matter where they are in their career, whether they're brand new and building a pipeline, or if they're, closing, or opening 2 or 3 escrows a month, like some of our top agents on our team.
That's awesome. And going back to when COVID hit, what expenses did you and your team cut?
Jeez. Everything was on the table. I couldn't tell you how much I cut. I think I cut my expenses by 50%.
That's amazing.
I kid you not. I mean, we cut everything we could. The way that we looked at it was basically, do we 100% need that line item to do business? If it was an actual, like, you have a personal survival household expense, like you have to pay your rent or your mortgage, you have to pay your utilities, like you have to drink water and food, like that's how we looked at it, right? And if it was like, yeah, we need it, it was not even on the table. If we're like, there was a hesitation, it was completely on the table to cut or reduce or renegotiate.
So any specific examples?
Print marketing was a big one. We spent like $1,000 or $1,500 in print. We just cut that right off the bat and still haven't started it. Multiple different types of tech platforms that we had that we weren't even using, we cut. Some lead generation campaigns that we had that we cut that we really didn't see the need for in the time being or put holds on. We had reductions on rent that we were paying in our locations. We called all of our lead providers that we had and asked to renegotiate contracts and temporary relief. So some was cut, some was reduced, some was put on stay for a little bit until it reactivates again.
Awesome. And that's been a recurring theme. A lot of the agents have just made a phone call to their vendors and were able to get a reduced expense, so to speak. So just ask.
Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table with COVID, in my opinion.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how did you keep yourself positive through all of this?
Oof, that's a great question. It's I've worked on that for years as I've become a real estate agent and built a team. The thing for me is that I've been able to surround myself with some amazing leaders, right? Both above me and below me. And the people above me, my partners, Ben, our fellow expansion partners throughout the nation, we don't allow each other to go victim. We don't allow each other to kind of crawl up under a blanket on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock and not do anything. It just doesn't happen. I'm a pretty accountable individual. I like to be held accountable. I like to be direct, and I expect the same thing in return, right? And I think the ability that we have, the blessing is that our team meets every single day, Monday through Friday. So we start the day strong, we talk about what we're grateful for, and then we grow from there, right? And then number two, we're in communication all day long on our Google chat system that we have. So we're talking all the time because we use Google Apps. So we talk all the time. Anybody has a victory, booked a buyer consultation, they post it. I mean, we're talking throughout the entire day, even on weekends, even at nights. So is there an ability to do so? Yes. I think for me, it's been extremely challenging because, when you become a team leader or a business owner and you hire employees and you bring on agents on your team and you say that, hey, if we were in business together, I really believe that I can help you net the income that you want to net. That's a big responsibility. I don't take that lightly at all. Right? I don't know about teams out there or what people do that are right or wrong, but I'm not a team owner that basically says, okay, I'm hiring. I'll get you some leads, come and join my team, and we'll see if it works out or not. No way. It cost me money to bring on an agent on my team, anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a month to bring an agent, not an admin. The level of service, leads, infrastructure, technology, and support that we give them, it cost me money, right? And my time. So I know that if I onboard somebody, I have to make sure they can actually sell real estate, which is their number one goal. But in return, they're only here so they can utilize our systems, right, Colleen, to make the money they want to make. So when I say that, I have an accountable relationship to them. So at times, I don't have the luxury to not be positive. I don't have the luxury to not be on all the time, right? Make sense?
No, absolutely. And so you're talking about an accountable relationship with your team members. So what does the accountability look like? I mean, anyone can make 150 dials a day. How do you know it's effective, and how do they earn the opportunity to remain on your team?
So something that we do at the Ben Kinney team, what we now call Place, is that in order to stay on our team, you have to close at least a transaction a month. We call that stay. We have an 86-day training program that when an agent joins our team, we onboard them thoroughly to make sure by the end of their 86 days, they're fully what we call self-managed to be able to work with buyers and sellers consistently while utilizing our team, staff, problem-solving infrastructure. So from an accountability standpoint, we know if they're going to make it within 3 to 6 weeks of being on our team because of the accountable things that we have, from the dials to tracking their numbers to the daily role plays. I mean, we know if you show up or not. We know what you're doing because we can see everything. And sometimes so can your team members. So.
No, that's excellent. And, I know you for a very long time, and you were successful as an individual agent. And then as you grew your own personal team in Irvine and then expanded up into the Valley, what made you join the Ben Kinney organization, even though you
So,
were already successful?
yeah, we were already an expansion team in SoCal, but what I looked at, this is the honest truth, and I've shared this many times. People have asked me that many times, like, dude, you were doing 40 million. You went from 5 million to 40 million in 4.5 years. Why would you partner with Ben? And I said, that's a great question. That's an honest question. I said, number one, it's not about having my name on things. It's not about the ego piece of building a team. I had that for the first couple of years. And I'm telling you, building a team like ours from 0 to 4 years is extremely stressful. I've lost a ton of money. I've poured millions of dollars of my own commissions back and reinvested in the business, right? But what I looked at is I said, okay, I have a promise to my family, first and foremost, my wife and my children. I have a promise secondary to my organization and my team members. And I promised them that if they work with me, I can help them achieve their financial goals and build wealth with them. And I looked at, Ben and I have known each other for years. And I got to a point where I looked at, what else can I do? How else can I grow this faster? And my brother and I, who were best friends, were business partners in another business that we do. And we looked at each other and we said, okay, if we have 10 years left, so starting January 1st of 2020, which was like a conversation we had a year and a half ago, by the way. So by the end of December 31st, 2029. So once we hit January 1st of 2030, 10 years away, we want to be able to have enough passive income coming in annually, right, that it more than covers our survival number. And we both thought that at that point, we want to bring in a minimum of $250,000 annually in passive income. So we said, how do we get there? What's the fastest way to get there? So when I started talking to Ben and I talked, I trust him. He builds an awesome organization. And we said, what would it look like if we partnered together in Southern California with your teams and grew together? And I looked at everything that he offered, right? And I said, what's the fastest way and the easiest way for myself and my agents and my staff to get to that goal in 10 years financially? Is it the Fred Sed way or the Ben Kinney way? And I mean, we talked for 7 months before I signed the contract and partnered with Ben. And there was no question after 7 months that his way was better than mine. But me leading our team with his systems and models has been a pretty powerful match.
So what would you say the top 1 to 3 things are of being on his team?
For me personally, the leadership funnel that I'm in is second to none in any organization in residential real estate. There's nobody that compares to us. And I don't say that we are the number 1 team in the world, period, right? Based off numbers and results. But there's a reason that we're that. And we're the most profitable organization in residential real estate teams by far, right? So it's not just about selling more, it's about making sure that we're profitable and making sure that our agents are profitable and have leftover income so they can invest and build wealth. So number 1 is a leadership funnel of what I've been able to learn. Number 2, he already had everything built out. So I didn't have to go spend another 5 or 8 years reinvesting another $5 or $10 million, losing money. He had the infrastructure from the agent's lead generation model, systems, accountability, infrastructure, technology, everything. Everything is already built out. I just had to learn it, adopt it, implement what I already do, and layer it in, and then get into a groove and go. And I think that over the past 90 days, we've gotten into that groove after 7 or 8 months of redoing our operations, systems, infrastructure, technology, everything. Now it's just plug and play, which is awesome.
Awesome. Well, and it allows you to do more of the production side than trying to figure out all these systems on your own and failing forward.
I'd say so, but also the value benefit and the value add that they offer me as a business owner is second to none, from their legal to HR to, I mean, it's just crazy what they do. And then secondary for me as an agent or my agents as well, there's no bigger value proposition that a team can offer a real estate agent anywhere in the nation. Anywhere. If it did, I would not have partnered with Ben. I would have partnered with somebody else.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Well, I think we have a question from the audience. David asked, is your team door knocking in Irvine again?
No, we've never been a door knocking based team. At times we would when we're doing our open houses. Some of our agents like to door knock, but as of now, nobody's door knocking. I always felt that, not that door knocking is bad. I think it's a great lead generation pillar. I know tons of people in the nation that make tons of money off door knocking. I've just been the type of circle prospecting. I think I can get more contacts when I'm triple line dialing somebody than door knocking. That's just my personal opinion, but I still think that door knocking is a great way to go.
Awesome. So what about farming? Were you a farmer?
Not really. So I've attempted, the basic definition of farming is print mail, right? Print mail, and to do it for 12 or 18 months and then start getting a name recognition and you get all the inventory. I haven't done too much of that. With the print marketing that we've done is to our actual internal database. That's what we have done. But when I look at farming, I do believe in farming, right? But I believe that if you're going to do farming, you have to do it extremely proactive. So you pick a geo area of 500 to 1,000 homes at minimum, right? At least a 5 to 8% turnover. If you want to do print marketing, you can, but I actually wouldn't start doing print marketing because that costs money. I would actually prospect to those 500 to 1,000 homes, possibly door knock like David said, and do any open house available in that area. Because if you can call that neighborhood over and over and over and over again, that can definitely serve you. Like I moved to Mission Viejo in 2017, an area called Pacific Hills. And we picked, I downloaded 2,500 or 3,000 of the neighbors. Rarely have I print mailed them, but over 3 years, myself, and I opened it up to my whole team that wants to call the lists, has been over and over and over again, calling and calling and calling. And I've probably done, I don't know, total of 6 or 9 transactions in there just by circle prospecting with no print mail. Not a lot, but it's not like a big pillar for me. I don't care if I don't do anything in there. I would just rather see my sign in my neighbor instead of somebody else's. Right?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
What about, you mentioned earlier about campaigns. I'm assuming, were you referring to social media campaigns?
Yeah. So when it comes to, if you're going to do a farming campaign, in my opinion, if you sat with me and say, Fred, here's 1,000 homes that I want to hit, I would say, okay, why? I said, number 2, what's the turnover ratio? So how many of those 1,000 homes, how many of those 1,000 homes sell annually? Right. And I think out of 1,000, to have a 5% plus ratio, you have to have at least 50 homes sell annually. If those numbers are correct, I think it is. Yeah. So out of 1,000 home farm, at least 50 in that area have to sell every single year. If 20 or 25 sell, I don't like it, right? Because that's a 2% turnover. That sucks. The second thing I look for in a farm, is there somebody that out of those 50 homes that sell annually, right, do they own more than 25% in market share? So out of those 50 homes, is there a dominant agent that literally sells, what is that, over 15 of the homes every single year? If that's the case, that person has massive market share. I might not pick that farm. But once you pick the farm, then it's literally, what's my game plan of attack? Number 1, you have to call these people. You have to use Cole Realty Resource or Mojo. We use Cole Realty Resource and download the landlines and the cell phones, and we call these people, literally. Hey, this is Fred with Keller Williams, and I'm a local realtor that works this community. And I was just wondering, have you thought about selling your home in the next 12 months? Very direct. Or if you have a listing in there or have permission to get a listing marketed. Oh, hi, my name is Fred with Keller Williams, and I just listed your neighbor's property on 123 Elm Street. And I was wondering if you knew anybody that wanted to move into your awesome neighborhood. Another variation of the circle prospecting script. Number 2, open houses that are available, whether it's yours or other listings. So you put your signs up over and over again, right? And then number 3, social media. You have an ability on social media with Facebook is to be able to do targeted posts, right? Based off zip code or territory, depending on quantity size. And at that point, you could do home valuation, targeted social media marketing, which is good. Home search target marketing. That would probably be a good way to do it as well.
So when you talk about the Facebook target marketing, how much does a campaign cost you, and how often are you running it?
That's a great question. So the main, when we're doing home valuations, I mean, it depends. I mean, we've done home valuations that the leads cost us on Facebook, anywhere from $1 to $20, depending on the quality, the type of lead that we're doing. I know with our team at Ben, with Brivity, their cost per lead is extremely low. I know that I don't use Command at the moment, but I know Command's done some great things with Facebook in collaborating together. We don't use it with all due respect because we have a pretty solid technology platform that Ben owns. So we're covered from that standpoint. I think that you can use Facebook at an extremely low cost. So one thing that we do, we've had trouble lately because Facebook's changed the rules, but what we've done for like 4 years in a row as part of our 33 Touch campaign is imagine we have, let's say 15,000 people in our system, right? Leads, Brivity, Command, whatever. We download the CSV spreadsheet, and out of the 15,000 people, let's say 12,000 people have an email address. We re-upload that list of 12,000 people to Facebook via what's called a custom audience. And we can literally target market that custom audience. Now that might not be your geo farm of 1,000 people, but that can be your entire database. So what we've done, the basic simple thing that we've done is I've done a social media blog for, I want to say 7 years now. Every single Friday, I've done something called a Fridays with Fred. It's a 1 to 3 minute video. Before I would do it recorded, where I would record a ton of them and then post them. Since COVID, I basically doing Facebook Lives every Friday at 12 o'clock on the dot, no matter where I'm at. And we'll take this video and then we'll post it from Friday to Sunday night for 72 hours, but we'll sponsor the video only to the custom audience, the people that are already in our database receiving emails and property alerts, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. And what about any other social media platforms? Are you?
Instagram. We're not in YouTube. I mean, I've probably done like 600-700 videos on YouTube. So, I mean, I don't get a ton from social media, but what I do is I utilize social media to enhance the database contacts that we're already doing. Because a lot of our people in our database and our 33 Touch are members or are fans of Facebook or Instagram. So they're seeing the twofold attack.
Got it. Makes sense.
Like
So
I listed a property the other day. I listed a property the other day from somebody who goes to my church, and I know her mom and her sister. I don't really know her. She knows my wife, but I listed the property, and I've met her for the first time, and she's like, "Man, I stalk you guys on Instagram all day," and I was like, "Shit, good. I don't care. She's a sweetheart. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. It's because they see you over and over again. I mean, people, all they're doing is literally scroll, like we all do."
Mm-hmm. Well, it's keeping front of mind. And if everyone's on social media, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned 33 Touch. What does your 33 Touch look like?
So we do, right now, we use something called BombBomb, which is the Constant Contact MailChimp, but it's video based. So we send that out once a month, mid-month. So we send out one newsletter a month that has a video update at the top, and it has all of our just listed, just sold, Yelp reviews, yada, yada, yada. It goes out once a month. Number two, we send out some sort of letter, or before COVID happened, we were doing this for 2-3 straight years. I stopped it temporarily. I'm going to pick it back up next month. And it's a postcard. I wish I had one with me. It's 5 by 8, but we call it an evidence of success. It's literally like 1 or 2 listings, just sold, just listed. So they know that we're still doing business. The reason I brought back snail mail, so to say, is because when our clients move into a geo area, they're getting bombarded by the neighborhood specialist. So I still want to make sure I'm sending them a piece for me, knowing that, hey, Fred's still doing business. So not only is there a past client agent, and he's calling us 4 times a year, and he's emailing us, and his Facebook and his client events, and he's mailing to us, I'm overdosing Fred on them, while their neighborhood specialists are doing the same thing. So 1 email newsletter a month with video, ideally 1 snail mail piece of some sort, right? That's 24 touches already, by the way. Another 4 quarterly calls. So every 90 days calling them. That is the glue that holds a touch program together, in my opinion, is the phone call. You use the Ford method, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So that's 28 touches already. Then we're doing 52 Fridays with Fred and sponsoring them. So I don't even count that in my touch program. That's insane, right? And then we do 7 or 8 holiday emails saying me doing a video, happy 4th of July, and we send it via BombBomb, right? We do ideally 2 client events annually, and we do 1 holiday Christmas card. So we literally have over 50 touches. Just think about it. Even if you do 1 client event, you got to do all the invites and intros and calls and confirmations and texts. That's like 6 or 7 touches already. So that's kind of a variation of what we do.
Awesome. I love it. So client events, I know a lot of people had started doing them, and because of COVID, there's a few roadblocks. So tell us about what you used to do for client events, and then share with us what you're doing now in lieu.
We weren't really the best. We really started picking it up the past couple of years, but we've done events at park. I've done a Mickey and Minnie Mouse session before at a park near my house, where I literally hired a Mickey and Minnie Mouse character thing, photos. We've done picnics at parks. We've done one of the ones we did at when did we do it this year? No, last year. We're going to do it again this summer, but obviously COVID is we had 125 of our past clients come to Dave & Buster's in Irvine. I mean, I spent, I don't know, $5 or $8 grand, but 125 clients, buffet, food, game cards, giveaways. I mean, it was fun. That was our like annual, like big deal appreciation. And it worked. I mean, 125 clients I haven't seen in a while, and they came, and I can't even tell you how much business or referrals I've gotten because of it.
No, that's awesome. So what might your events look like moving forward?
I have no idea. My wife does that. We've talked about it. I couldn't tell you. I mean, thinking about doing something virtual, I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. That's a great question. We got to figure it out, because I don't think we're going to be doing a big event with 100 people that are going to come in the next 12 months. I really don't think so. So that's one thing that we have a gap on, that we're going to have to figure out, to do something virtually, something amazing. And that's something we're going to work on in the next 30 days, because we got to do something in the next 3 to 5 months. We have to.
Most definitely. Well, I'll follow up with you about that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have sushi and I'll tell you about it.
So how are you educating your buyers and your sellers?
Social media, talked about that, right? Our monthly emails, and then one-on-one conversations. So I make sure that every single day when we're doing power-ups and conversations, I'm working with my agents, because I'm still in production. For the past 4 years, 2017, 18, 19, now 20, I sell an average of 28 houses a year myself. My team does the other 100 plus, right? So the reason I say that is I'm actively on the front line dealing with objections, problems, deals, scenarios, PED forms, yada, 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 right? So I can tell my agents every single day what I'm doing on my deals, so they can then tell their clients the same thing, right? So one-on-one conversation is the best. Number 2 is via social media. Number 3 is via our newsletters that we send out, and my video updates.
Awesome. And I know you do have hundreds of videos. Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've had it since, I don't know. I did my first video back in 2008, 9. My client at that point was an online marketer, and she said, I think video is going to be the wave of the future. I said, okay, what the hell do I do? She said, go get a flip, the flip camera thingies where a USB pops out and you stick it in your camera. So I bought one of those flip thingies. I put it on a pod, and I did a video about short sales. Like, what is a short sale? It took me 3 hours to film a 1-minute video blog. I was red. I was blushing. I was like talking like this, like, oh my God, right? And then eventually I've literally shot a couple thousand videos since then, and I've been a public speaker and trainer, right? So it's enabled me to get better, understand, and being very comfortable talking in front of camera or talking in front of 500 people on stage or whatever it is. But doing videos opened the door for that for me psychologically.
That's cool. Awesome. You're ahead of the curve. I've watched a lot of your videos. Yeah. So aside from educating your buyers and sellers, how are you educating yourself, and how are your team members getting educated?
So once again, our team members, I shove education down their throat. I mean, it's just like fist, throat, down, right? I'm an educator by trade. I love to train. But I also believe that as a trainer, you have to be able to train individuals in a way where they know how to easily implement, right? So number one, my biggest thing is that I train. I train every morning with them at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Number two, I started, as you guys know, some of you, about 9 weeks ago, I started training outside my team agents. I have 138 agents that join us that are part of our weekly Tactics to Thrive training on Thursdays at 12. We're going to finish shift in 4 weeks and then start doing a bunch of other cool stuff. But for me, I have a partner call on Mondays at 1 o'clock. Myself, Ben Kinney, and Chris Suarez, which is our two leaders. I just hung up the call today at 1 o'clock, and about 50, 60 of us, because we have, right now, we now have something in the tune of about, I think we're at 50 teams across the nation. So imagine 50 teams that are my size. And we all get together with Ben and Chris Mondays for an hour, and we do a Zoom training call. Today we talked about leadership. We talked about the book, The Amazon Way. And Chris talked about 14 key principles as a leader about Jeff Bezos, who runs the wealthiest company in the entire world. I thought it was an amazing training today from a leadership standpoint. And then my agents, they have access to a lot of different training calls that we do internally that are available to our team, from Ben to Chris to Brivity to Bob, to a lot of stuff that we do. We have a huge training library in the back end that has hundreds of videos, audios, literally everything you can imagine that an agent wants to learn on how to sell real estate from beginning to end. We already have our own library. So, I mean, it's nonstop, Colleen. I can't tell you one thing. It's just always available. But I also believe, here's what I learned about COVID when it first happened. And I was guilty of this. I'm sure you were as well. All of a sudden, we're like, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. So that first 10 days, I didn't feel productive because I was on like 5,000 Zoom trainings. And I was like, God, this sucks. So then I realized it's like there's a lot of agents out there that would love to learn, right, and not implement. That's why I don't knock the program of Ignite. I don't knock it. I love it. But I do knock the individuals that train it, that don't push their students to go do activity immediately. So I've always been a believer in book smart and street smart. Because agents in the beginning of their career, they're a deer in the headlight. 5 million ways of generating leads, right? So my biggest thing is you learn a little bit, go hit the phones 2 hours later and go dial 300 people and go fail and then improve and improve and improve. So.
No, and I have to laugh with you on the Zooms. I thought, I think we all worried in the beginning we weren't going to have anything on our calendars. And then we looked back and said, oh my God, nothing else.
It was insane. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, totally. All right, David has another question. Any tactics for getting potential buyers or sellers out of fear?
Say that again. Rephrase the question. So converting people that are fearful of the market to?
I guess it would be just, in general, people are kind of in fear because of COVID and maybe hesitant to, take the next step and step out and, pull the trigger to buy or sell. Is there anything that you have been saying?
Yes.
Or tactics that you're using to improve their outlook and help them to get out of the fear?
Great question, David. So number one, always know, and you probably already know this, but I'll reiterate, always know that a consumer either has an objection or has a condition. An objection you can handle, a condition you cannot. But asking the right questions and digging deeper and deeper and deeper will help you find the motivated and understand if that consumer has a condition or has an objection. So some of the questions I've been asking, let's talk about sellers, right? I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of people that want to sell and buy right now. They're move-ups, a lot of move-ups I'm seeing. I've been doing a lot of move-ups the past, I've personally done 153 move-ups in the past 4 years, sells and buys in my personal production, right? And the questions I ask is they come to me and say, Fred, I think if we want to sell, we want to get the equity out of it and then buy a bigger home. I say, awesome. We do a consultation. We look at their net equity. Where do they want to move to? What's the minimum they need? I mean, you guys know, right? And then I had a client this weekend from church again, a good friend of mine, came to me and said 3 weeks ago they wanted to sell small and buy big because they have 4 kids. And all of a sudden on Friday, like, Fred, we're just not seeing anything that you're sending us that we like. We're not sure if we want to do this. So then I picked up the phone. I said, okay, Ryan, let me ask you a question. Me and you talked the other day, and it said that you guys definitely have outgrown this house. And when I asked you a question, Ryan, can you see yourself and your family living in this home in the next 5 years? You and your wife both said no on the Zoom call. So it sounds like we're definitely going to be making a move. So let's go ahead and get together one more time and reset our expectations of what you guys want to buy and see if we can tweak it and find you the right opportunity. So asking them, David, again, number one, if they're still basically finding their motivation, are you telling me that you could now live in this home for the next 5 years? Well, when I talked to you the other day, you said you definitely want to sell in the next 6 months because you've outgrown it. So resetting expectations, asking the motivation questions again, right? When it comes to buyers, here's the thing. On our buyer consultation page, we have a buyer consult that we have a presentation. On page 2, we talk about the benefits of home ownership. You need to write this down, right? And put this into your own presentation if you want. Number 1, we talk about 3 benefits of home ownership. There's the appreciation factor. There's the principal pay down factor, okay? And then there's the paying your interest factor. So when we can, God, you guys want to see this? Colin, you want me to show you something?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let me.
Allow me to share. Let me find my Google Sheet. Where's this bad boy at? Hold on. Give me 30 seconds. I'll find. Oh, boom, I found it. Nice.
Perfect. And your host, so you should have no problem.
I'm the host. Cool. So watch this. So can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep.
Let me zoom in a little bit. Cool. Okay. So watch this. So I did a first-time buyer consultation with another friend of mine. I'm getting a lot of deals from my Spear lately, which is cool because I've been calling them and working them, right? And they're buying a home for the first time for $750,000. Now, when they're buying for the first time for $750,000, we look at 3 factors, and they're putting down $60,000, which is a $690 loan amount. So I went to a bankrate.com and went to a mortgage calculator, and I wanted to see an amortization schedule. Okay, so if they got a $690,000 loan amount at 3.75% rate, their principal and interest payment alone, forget anything else, just principal and interest is $31.95 a month. Okay, so if they bought a home for the next 12 months, rather than renting at $3,000 a month, you with me? They're paying $3,200 a month in principal and interest. Of that payment every single month, $1,039 is going through a principal, $2,156 is going through interest. Okay, as you know, when you're getting any type of loan, mortgage or car loan, you pay a lot of your interest in the first 5 or 8 years of the loan, heavily interest. So in the first 12 months of owning a home, they're paying down their principal loan balance of $690,000 by how much? $13,766. That means at the end of 12 months, their new loan balance is going to be $676,233. They automatically have $13,000 in built-in equity. Number 2, they have paid $27,774 in interest in the first 12 months. By owning a home, what do you guys get? At the end of the calendar year, the bank sends you a 1099 or 1098 that says you paid $27,000 in interest. And you don't get $27,000 in tax refund back. You get to deduct your taxable net income by $27,000. So if your tax bracket is literally, let's say 20% or 25%, and you reduce your net income by $27,000, that's an actual cash value of, let's say, $6,000 in refund that you get, plus your principal pay down. Plus, if you take into consideration over 40 or 50 years of tracking real estate appreciation nationally, the average number used is 4% annually. So if you bought a home for $750,000, 4% appreciation is $30,000. So if you buy a home today for $750,000, $690 loan amount, rather than renting for $3,000 or $3,200 or $2,000 a month, within 12 months, you're going to increase your financial net worth by $49,766. So it's kind of a long-winded answer, David. But as long as I've worked with that buyer and I did a proper buyer consultation, I will bring them back and say, hey, John, I completely understand that you're hesitant, but let me ask you a question. You came to me because you no longer wanted to rent, because you knew by putting $3,000 a month in rent, it's like walking over and putting $3,000 in cash in the toilet and pressing the flush button. We talked about that, right? Awesome. So let's just go ahead and find the right opportunity. Rates are at 3.5%. We talked about that you want to build wealth, and you know that you don't want to rent forever. So I bring them back to the original conversation always, always. And if a client comes, David, and says, for the very first time I've talked to them and they're buyer lead or seller lead and they have hesitations, then I just lead generate to the listing consult or the buyer consult. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I completely understand that you have hesitations about this market. Let's go ahead and do a buyer consultation that we do with all of our buyers for 15 or 20 minutes. And let's talk about the benefits of buying today. And if it doesn't match what you're looking for, let's go ahead and hold for 6 or 12 months. And then we can find a property when you're ready and it's the right financial move for you and your family. But in the meantime, I want to give you all of your options and then you do what you think is best for you and your family. Does that make sense? Cool. And I do the same thing with sellers.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fred, how are you overcoming the objection with regards to the buyers or waiting for the prices to drop?
Simple. Here's what we do. In my professional opinion, as long as I've done this for 16 years or so, the main driving factor for prices to drop has been what? Interest rates. So right now, the federal government has kept interest rates artificially low. So for rates to stay low and prices to drop, that's an economic crash, by the way, right? Not a real estate sector crash. So I tell Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, hey, I understand that if you can buy a home for $500,000 right now, and let's say the market corrects, and a real estate correction is normally 10 or 15%. Anything beyond 20% is a crash, just so we're clear, in my opinion. So even if the prices drop by 10% and a home that we can get for $500,000 today, we can buy in 12 months for $450,000. That's awesome. But the reason that's going to happen, one of the main reasons, is because interest rates are going to go from 3.75 to 4.75. And I literally show them the numbers on if your interest rate increases by 1%, your buying power literally decreases. So you gotta know your numbers, but that's a simple conversation. A lot of buyers don't know if you don't show them the numbers. They just think it's better to wait because that's what their uncle told them or their friend told them. Or their best friend who's giving them financial advice who has a net worth of $5,000 and has never owned a home in their life. Right?
So true, so true.
No ego. That's just what we're used to, right? So it's not, you got to come from a humble standpoint. And Ben did a good job earlier today in making sure that I was humble in a comment that he made to me. But we have to be, right?
No, absolutely. What other common objections are you hearing right now?
COVID, waiting. I think the ones that wait, they don't bring up an objection, they bring up a condition. I think, Fred, I'd love to buy, but I think my employment's kind of shaky right now. Then I literally tell them, don't buy, wait. That's a condition, right? But I don't get anything out of the ordinary. The COVID stuff is easy because we get it all the time. But here's the thing I realized. I gave my team this analogy like 2 months ago when it was, we're in the middle of April 8th, where we just started the run of like making a ton of calls. And I said, guys, do you know how you have that, that little thing that cuts apples? So you put an apple down and you cut it down and slices come out.
Mm-hmm.
I said, imagine you doing tons of lead generation every day, 150 dials, 200 dials every day, over and over and over. You're basically putting that apple shredder on all these people, and out of it is coming the motivated. So you have to do the quantity of activity right now in a shifting market of some sort to find the quality of people who are the motivated that want to buy and sell. The reason that we put together 35 pieces of business in the past 45 days, almost one piece of business a day for listing taken or escrow opened, is because 10 of us have decided to do massive activity to find the motivated. We have tons of others that are kind of motivated on the fence, but they're on our pipeline, don't get me wrong. And I'm sure they'll go under contract in the next 90 days. But we're always looking for the motivated. And we're nurturing the ones that are not, so that one day they become motivated and they choose us to buy and sell.
So those that are maybe just waiting throughout the next 90 to 120 days, what does follow-up look like to them?
Number one, if they're a buyer, they get what's called a listing alert, which is basically property sent to them. Number two, if they're a homeowner, through our technology system, we send them what's called a market report, which sends them all the homes like theirs that are active in escrow or sold within the past 30 days. So they see the inventory over and over again. Number three, we have a series of calls that go to them manually, like follow up in 3 weeks, follow up in 2 weeks, or we text them. So it's just making sure that it's top of mind. And the reason we know they're top of mind is I'm a stickler about our pipeline report. Our agents have to have a pipeline report, which is basically a Google sheet, right? We learned this from CGI a couple years back, right? Which is you have to know who your 10s, 9s, 8s, and 7s are. Basically, everybody who's going to buy or sell with you within 6 months. A 10 is somebody who's going to sell or buy within 30 days. And 9 is somebody between day 30 and day 60. An 8 is between day 60 and 90. And a 7 is between 90 days and 180 days. They're going to buy a home with you or list with you. So you have to know your pipeline report. And then you just follow up to your pipeline.
So you mentioned earlier you do a lot of dialing through Mojo Dialer. What is the script for when you're just calling through the dialer?
Depends on who you're calling. If you're circle prospecting, there's a couple different types of circle prospecting. Number one, there's what's called conversational, which is a straight cold call. Ring, ring. Hi, is this John? Hey, John, my name is Fred. I work with a local real estate team here, and I was giving you a call to see if you had any thoughts of selling your home in the next 12 months. Straight cold call. And then go down. Number two is a just listed or just sold. Hi, ring, ring. Oh, hey, John, my name is Fred with Keller Williams, and I just listed your neighbor's property in 1991 North Schaefer in Orange, and we got tons of activity. And I was wondering, do you know anybody who wants to make a move in the community? No. Awesome. Have you thought about selling your home in the next 1, 3, or 5 years? And then the third one is basically an open house variation of that when we were doing open houses. Or ring, ring. Hey, John, this is Fred with Keller Williams. We just listed your neighbor's home on 1991 North Schaefer, and we're doing an awesome open house this weekend and want to invite you to the open house. So 3 really variations: cold, just listed, just sold, open house. All have the same skeleton of a script.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So if there was one piece of advice you would give a brand new agent right now, maybe just getting their license the beginning of this year, what would you tell them?
Keep it simple, stupid. So number one, put together a list. One thing I didn't mention is people that join our team as well, before they're allowed to start on our team, they have to put together a list of 200 people for their friends, family, and past clients with at least one form of contact information. If you don't have that, you cannot start on day one with us. And if everybody joins our team, you own your database. So if we ever part ways, you always own your database forever. We have nothing to do with that. We just help you enhance it while you're with us. But working your database now, hard. Right? Number two, getting a Mojo line dialer for $100, getting data somehow from Cole or somebody else, and being proactive and hitting the phones. Number three, when open houses open back up again, do 2 to 3 open houses a week from any listing that will allow you to do it. Market Center, yours, anybody else's.
Awesome. And then what about a veteran agent? What would your advice be?
Same thing.
So no difference?
No. I think a veteran, they should have a solid pipeline at that point. So I think from a veteran standpoint, how to look at getting their business, their recurring business, to come from 50% minimum from their database, 50% from other sources. I think from a veteran standpoint, it becomes a choice that says, I just want to be a single agent and have an independent TC, and I just want to net 150 grand a year. I don't want to build a team. I don't want to be on a team. If that's a place, great. Still fine tune your systems, right? And then if you're a veteran that wants to be on a team or partner or build your own, get really clear on what that looks like. Really clear before you make that decision.
Awesome. And how many people are in your personal database?
Solid core, I think I'm at 324.
324?
Core, I'm talking, yeah, like we are in tune, baby.
Awesome. And how often are you touching or calling them?
Calling them probably, I'm like anybody else, once every 90 days. But they hear from me 2-3 times a month. Easy.
So
Email,
really,
newsletter, mailers,
so
social
just
media.
staying top of mind.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Awesome. So does anyone else have any final questions for Fred before our hour is up with him?
So have they heard what we've done with you?
I'm sorry?
Have they heard what we've done with you and Tony?
You could share.
Cool.
We have.
So Colleen and I have known each other for Mission Viejo 2008. Holy crap, 12 years. So we know each other a long time. I remember when she built Yorba Linda because she was asking me, because I was a little punk kid working for like Seven Gables back in the day at 21. So I knew some of these like older cats that were running like North Tustin and Yorba Linda and Adnine Mills. So anyway, we built a relationship. But basically through our relationship, I think Colleen and I always knew that we would be in business together at somehow. It just never was able to line up. But because of our systems and our infrastructure and because of my flexibility, I had a good conversation with Tony in the past couple months, and Tony and I decided that we were going to build our team in the Yorba Linda Market Center. So not only do we have Irvine, we now have Yorba Linda. We're already in a position where we're adding agents there, and we're interviewing as we speak. And so we're basically in business with you guys, which is awesome. So
we're excited. So
yeah,
tell us what you're looking for in that agent, because there's other agents on here too from your Tustin and Brea.
Yeah, whether it's for us or whether it's for you guys building a team, guys, these are kind of the expectations that we have. I only expect my agents to do basically generate leads, follow up on leads, show properties, negotiate contracts, go on listing appointments, and then problem solve their deals. Be a sales agent. Don't worry about anything else. We cover all of it. We're not perfect. We're freaking good, right? So make money, right? Number two, we want them to be hungry. We want them to be humble, want them to be coachable, and not afraid to hit the phones. We will know in the first 7 or 10 days if somebody can actually, like, I don't care if I have people that are just hired an agent that's from Ukraine on an LA team. Accent is pretty heavy, but man, she's starting to hit the phones. I'm not worried about accents and stuff like that, but her desire and her drive is there. She wants something more than she can do on her own. And the culture has to be there as well. Somebody who wants to be a part of an organization, a team that is tight knit, that supports each other, and an opportunity to basically make more money, but then also be taught on what to do with that money, whether it's stocks and real estate and rentals, right? I own a property management company. I flip properties. I own rentals. I invest in stuff. So these are things that I've done with my profit as I've reinvested them, right? So we teach people to be able to do that. And Ben is the king of all of that. I mean, that guy has taught us a lot. So people like that, they want to grow, right? They're hungry. Not afraid to put in the work either. Not afraid to.
No, absolutely. And I would say want a higher dollar per hour, because you're being able to specialize on the sales aspect of it, as you mentioned, as opposed to having to deal with all the admin and contracts and follow-ups and all that stuff that all the realtors love doing.
Yeah, it's like we talked about this morning, Colleen. We talked about with my team. You know, my goal always was a couple of years back when I started building a team before Ben, was that I wanted to, and I learned this from Ben actually. Ben told me years ago that his goal was to create and get in business and create 10 millionaires, net millionaires. And he's done that already, right? But my goal was I want to create 10 six-figure net earners. So I want to get agents that want to net bottom line pre-tax 6 figures, right? And that's what I reminded my team of this morning. And I've done that already with agents on my team, right? But I said, going into January 1st of 2021, minimum, I want to have 10 people on my team that are netting 6 figures with me, minimum. Because I know once you net 6 figures as an agent in Orange County, that you could actually do, especially if you have another spouse that earns income, I mean, you could do some fun stuff with that. You could buy rentals out of state, you could buy rentals in the AV, you can invest in stocks, IRAs, 401s, pay off debt, build college kid funds, all that fun stuff, right? But you need the net revenue to be able to do that, right?
Well, if anyone's interested in learning more about joining Fred's team, feel free to reach out to me. But Fred, thank you so much for your time today. And you have your tactics that still go on every Thursday at noon, correct? If anyone is interested in joining that series.
Tactics to Thrive every Thursday. We're still in the shift series. I forgot. I think we're on shift tactic 8 or 9. I don't remember. There's been so many of them, right? But yeah, it's awesome content. We record it. If you join our weekly calls, we record the video. We give you a copy of the PDF so you can have the content with you as well. And it's awesome stuff.
It is, and there's no cost too, but thank you so much, Fred. You rock. Thanks for being a great leader in our region, in our company, and I wish everyone a great afternoon. Stay cool out there. It's a warm one.
Bye, guys. Appreciate the time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.